So the next game we're playing is one that is going to be a bit of a change from our usual affair. As you all know, I'm not typically a visual novel player, like at all, because they just haven't really been my type of game. And I tend to find it really hard to find exceptions to the rule a lot of the time, but this one seems like a really interesting one because I learned about it through Blue Sky and I've been seeing it around on Steam, and I figured I think it's time I ought to give another visual novel style game a go. And this one is for The Last Winter Night. You play as a possessed suit of armor, figuring out, I believe it's like figuring out how you died and encountering the characters. So, how has your journey been long? Click highlighted words. But at last you're here, where you belong. It's good to see you again. The Last Winter Night. Already, I really love the art style. It looks beautiful. And I don't know how long the demo is. I do know the release window, though. The release window for this game is set to be April of this year. April's getting a lot of really huge stuff, though, in terms of releases, so this is going to end up being added into that list. So we're going to see how this game plays. And yeah, let's get started. Just did a little audio balancing, so we're all good. Lost Soul. Wandering through mist and snow. Do you feel the touch of iron cold? I love this art style. It's so pretty. Before you awoke, there was nothing. No warmth or light, no touch nor taste, no sound nor sight. No dreams, no fears, no memories. Only a dark as vast and boundless as the sunless sea. You were one soul adrift among the dead that came before you. A droplet in an ocean. But now, you're unsure when you come to the consciousness, when the piece of yourself coalesces and form you again. When darkness became dimness, when silence became the barest rustle of sound. Wind. You're here again, in the world of the living, as if you never left, as if when you closed your eyes for the final time, you were only dreaming. You try to recall what a dream is, what it means to wake from sleep. When you were alive and sleep was a different being altogether from death. Feel. Moments pass. You remain still for some time, letting the sensations of the world around you flood your consciousness, grounding yourself in the flow of time itself. Time. You once felt its passage with painful clarity. The world of the living is a finite and fragile one, fleeting as frost beneath the morning sun. But now you have the luxury of waiting. Something falls gently around you. Snow. You form the word in your mind, feel its shape with your consciousness. Soft, white, cold. You shiver out of instinct. Something metallic clangs and rattles as you do. But the bite of cold never comes. Listen. The roar of the wind, the creaking of iron, the song of a place abandoned by time. If solitude had a sound, would this be its melody? Look. Gonna be hydrating a lot because this is gonna be a lot of reading. Oh, hold on, I forgot to change the stream category. Give me 1 second. There it is. Okay. Finally, you decide to examine your surroundings. Or rather, your encasings. You try to move your fingers and something metallic clicks in response. A steel gauntlet follows your command, clinking softly as you twist and turn. But this gauntlet and vambrace are hollow. No flesh is encased beneath them, not even bone. Yet, as you bend your arm, the counter and pauldron move to your command. I'm going to save, actually. The ring of an iron hauberk. Hauberk? I think that's it. Hauberk. Clatter against the empty cuirass of your torso. You know that once, long before the currents of the sunless sea took all memory from you, you had flesh. You lived and breathed. Lived and breathed and fought and killed until you died yourself. See. Gingerly, you reach for your visor and crack it open, then closed until your vision settles into focus. What you see is yourself. Your reflection, rather, in a broken mirror or an old stone wall. An empty helm stares back at you. As you shift and turn, your cuirass and pauldrons shift along with you, clanging in the dimness.
Did this armor belong to me? Was I a knight?
Cold steel. Hollow plates. You wouldn't think to call armor comforting, but this is. It's familiar. It's safe and protective, enveloping you like a father's arms, and it responds to you like it's yours. You look down at your gauntlet and imagine gripping the hilt of a sword. You've worn armor just like this, once upon a time. Perhaps this suit was indeed among them. But beyond these sensations, no memories come to you. Also, ad break in 5 minutes. Not yet. Perhaps in time you'll know what drew your spirit not only to your armor, but to this place as well. For now, you turn to the rest of your surroundings. Objects will not yield all their secrets upon a single look. Try examining them more than once to reveal more insight. A brief summary of your discoveries can be found in the Codex. When you have found everything you can interact with in a room, the frost around the edges of the screen will disappear. Oh, cool, that's actually really handy. I hope you can find yourself again. This portrait. A painting hangs above the hearth, flaking and aged, its ornate frame tarnished with time. It depicts a woman of no less than 20 summers, dressed in a blue gown, her skin porcelain fair and hair fairer still. A raven, its feathers the same stark hue, perched on her arm. She is beautiful. Not even time can steal this fact from the canvas.
Only because she is like me, lifeless and ageless.
You stare at the painted face, trying to recall the person it belonged to.
If she was the mistress here, I must have served her as a knight.
But her name, like yours, escapes you. A cold stone hearth with only ashes remaining. You try to recall memories of laughter seated before a roaring fire. Shared smiles, warm wine, words of comfort whispered. Hours nestled shoulder to shoulder, huddled against the cold.
Nothing. Would I have shared tender moment? Who would I have shared tender moments with?
You have awoken in a long deserted room. If you can ignore the overturned furniture, broken glass, and fallen chandelier, you think it would have been a comfortable place. It's spacious, with a thick rug, wide walls, a hearth for warmth, and arched windows for light.
A solar, or sitting room.
Well, that's what a solar is. I've heard the term before, but I never knew what it was. You briefly wonder if you would have had the luxury of spending time here as a knight. You pick up the book and try to read its faded words. Though your hollow gauntlets struggle to turn pages. It appears to be an epic romantic novel about a knightess, rather.
Well, I suppose anything is possible in fiction.
Oh, come on, dude. The pages are filled with lengthy paragraphs of purblish prose that spend too long describing the main character's musings, the scenery, and the main character's musings about the scenery. You feel safe in assuming this hefty volume did not belong to you. Oh, so it kind of, like, a little too pontificating. Broken windows gape like an open jaw, drawing icy breaths of wind into the wide stone room. Shards of glass litter the floor like a revenant's teeth, buried under soft white mounds of snow. A winter storm gathers and grows. You'll have difficulty traversing it should you even find a way outside.
Well, there's plenty more to explore here yet.
The mirror. You take another look in the mirror, trying to make out more detail on your armor. It's a deep black, though the metal's luster has been lost to time. Delicate engravings cover its plates. Spiraling leaves and glint florals trace its surface like ivy on a wall. The crest carved onto the center of the cuirass resembles a bird. A crow or a raven, you think. It's an intricate piece of craftsmanship. Beautiful, truly. But more importantly, it feels familiar. Comforting. Wearing it makes you feel less like a spirit and more like you. Whoever you are, or were. Plate armor is already expensive, you think. Hence, only knights can afford to wear full suits into battle. Armor this ornate could only have belonged to someone of great status or renown.
Could that truly be me? What sort of person was I? If I was so important, why wasn't my spirit laid to rest?
What sort of person was I?
And why wasn't I laid to...
Oh, I would have still gotten the same thing anyway. Everyone from the
loftiest kings to the lowliest prisoner must be granted final rights. Whether a grand pyre to burn away mortal regrets, or a single candle crudely carved with a name.
Well, we'll figure that out after the ad break. So 3 minutes, then an hour of no pre-rolls. So hydrate, stretch, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Thank you for your patience. All right. So yeah, conundrum on of whether or not our person here is, like, why they were left and they have unfinished business.
1,000 lights or a single flickering flame. Every soul deserves something to guide him across the sunless sea. Either I received not even the barest courtesy at my death, or the burden on my soul weighed so greatly no flame could hope to lift it. But I remember nothing of who I was, or how am supposed to free myself. Or how am I supposed to free myself?
As you look at the ashes left in the hearth, you spy what you at first think is a stray clump of snow, but it flutters away on a sudden gust of wind.
A feather.
It's gone before you can think to reach it. The barest flicker of familiarity registers as you gaze at the portrait's flaking blue eyes.
Perhaps this image isn't true to life. The artist could have painted her young or fairer than she was in reality. Those who fail to please their patrons have short careers after all.
Perhaps I care for little of my liege, As much as you'd like to imagine you were a loyal knight, you don't know what kind of master you served.
Was she worthy of pledging my life to?
The canvas yields no answers. You step towards the windows and stand for a while at the threshold. The world outside is a blur of white and dark that stretches as far as you can see. A pale moon shines in a pitch-black sky. A lonely thing, further than you could ever hope to reach.
The world of the living is truly beautiful.
The soft glowing moon shines on a world silver white. The night is dark, but nothing like the void from where you came.
In a lightless sea, darkness loses its meaning. Here, in contrast with light, it almost feels alive. It doesn't mean I like the dark, though. I'm glad it's a full moon tonight.
The book?
Mirabelle then looked into the shining, ocean-like pools of his azure blue eyes. Oh, how blue they were, and blushed deeply, until her fair cheeks were as red as the blooming rose she held in her palm. Quickly, she pinned it to his cuirass, catching a glimpse of herself in its mirror-like surface, and blushed further. If I wasn't a spirit already, I'd die of embarrassment after reading this.
This room clearly has seen better days. Rust coats iron, while grime has settled deep into stone, wool, and wood. The broken windows and overturned furniture tell you that this place wasn't merely abandoned.
Who or what left it like this?
There's still more? What the fuck else am I missing? Oh, this. Sheaves of parchment lie scattered near an ancient wood table. You carefully pick one up and attempt to read the faded script. My dear Marchioness, I think is Marchioness. My knights and I are most eager to attend the tournament. But my condolences once again for your loss. What a great burden your father has left to a woman as young as yourself. I, of course, would be happy to offer my advice, perhaps in a private setting. Oh, it's us. Maybe? The letters continue in a similar fashion, mentioning a tournament, the death of the recipient's father, and promises of courtship or counsel. The words choke with flattery and veiled condescendence. Yeah, veiled condescendence. Each one is addressed to a Marchioness. You assume this must be the woman in the portrait. Though her painted face is nothing but serene, you can only imagine her reading them with a sigh of exasperation. You're certainly beginning to feel that way. Okay, so this guy was just in the DMs going like, pinging, going like, hey, like, fucking hell. Stopping shy of going like, I showed you my balls, please respond. You set the letter aside without caring where it lands. Among one of the letters, you spy what appears to be a drawing, a portrait, but the features are obscured. It bears the signature, HRH, His Royal Highness. This Matrioness was a noblewoman who corresponded with royalty. She must have had immense power or wealth, or both. What were they discussing? But frustratingly, you can't make out any other words.
A frivolous novel about a female knight. Somebody must have been doing some light reading before they were interrupted here. How many years has this place been left like this? How long have I been dead?
Alright, well the frost thing is gone, so I think that's everything. You're not my brother.
Who? Was that my... Oh,
you're not my brother.
Was that my lady's voice?
You wait, but save for the wind, the castle remains silent.
If I keep searching, I should remember more.
At least you hope so. A rusted suit of armor, donning a faded blue surcoat, surveys the hall. It's impressive, but dated, and doesn't hold a candle to the fine craftsmanship of your own armor. It looks like the Dark Souls set.
Hello?
You try to call out, and immediately feel foolish. You don't have a body, so naturally you have no voice either.
What are the chances there's another haunted suit of armor here after all?
Proud banners adorn the walls. Each bears a raven with wings unfurled, similar to the one engraved on your armor.
This is the symbol of the family I served.
Yet you don't feel any sense of pride as you gaze upon them. Almost the opposite. Once proud banners displayed the matrioness's crest. The fabric is torn and covered in grime. The beautifully woven, once white birds have sunken into a sea of murky, moldy blue. A heavy feeling lingers in your cuirass as you wonder if these banners mirror the fate of the house they reflect. You tap the suit of armor's visor. No response.
No other ghostly knights in this castle, then?
Anything else to interact with? You can't imagine how many years these banners have hung, ripped, molding from the castle walls. Like torn skin clinging to flesh, they refuse to fall.
Until the entire place crumbles as well.
You tap the suit armor's visor. Still no response.
No other ghostly knights in this castle, then?
Broken glass and piled snow blanket the floor of this hall as well. The shards glint like splintered teeth. You remember tales you've heard before. Tales you have told, and tales you've been told. Tales of men who woke from death and grew iron skin and teeth.
Iron has always been scared... Wait.
Sorry, had a little... Ugh. Clear my throat.
Iron has always been scared, sacred to spirits, they say.
Not scared, sacred. It'd be C before A on that. Come on, Will.
Iron has always been sacred to spirits, they say. I suppose that's why I was drawn to my armor, and not some other object. But why was I drawn here at all? Or why was I drawn here at all?
It's a storage room filled with a few empty crates and shelves. Dust coats the surface of old wood and moth-eaten fabric, thick as frost untouched by the sun. Thin moon-white cobwebs fill every corner and crevice. Against the far wall you see a rickety shelf laden with blankets, horseshoes, and other riding equipment. You even spy what looks like a tournament barding bearing a unicorn-shaped crest. Likely the personal symbol of whatever knight this loyal steed once carried. You've seen this crest before. Emblazoned on a blue standard, fluttering in the field. A satchel with the same crest sits on the top shelf. Find out what it holds. Luckily for you, your armor is tall enough to reach it without straining. You wonder if your suit would hold together if you were to fall. Would you be able to put yourself back together if your arms were no longer attached to you? You carefully lift the satchel, aged leather crinkling at your metallic touch. Your finger plates graze over the crest.
Snow. Flour.
Gingerly you open it. Rather than the equestrian supplies you were expecting, you find an assortment of objects. A broken necklace, torn linen, and numerous letters.
Personal sentimental belongings.
The necklace. A simple amber pendant with a broken clasp. It could have belonged to a man or a woman, but given the fine linen it rests on, you find the latter more likely. It twinkles in the dark like a drop of stolen light. Uncut amber hangs off a plain broken cord, beautiful but simple, hardly a piece worthy of a noble or anyone of rank. Still, you imagine that somebody treasured it, at least for a time. A torn piece of embroidered linen. The fabric is very fine. You're afraid to hold it with your gauntlet, lest the metal catch on the threads. It's patterned with flowers, leaves, and vines, motifs common enough in clothing, but rarely on fabric this delicate.
Oh, I know what this is. It's a wedding veil, or at least the remnants of one.
All that's left of the sorry thing is a scrap of fabric burnt and stained at one end. The stitches are uneven and filled with gaps too. Too tight in some places and too loose in others. The bride who made this was not a skilled seamstress, to put it charitably.
With needlework like this, it's a wonder she married at all. Was I ever in love?
Finding a bride would have been a necessary task for a knight like you, but perhaps you cared more for championship than dowries or alliances. But if you were, what does it mean that you don't remember who she was? Your supposed partner for life. A faded note, a scrawl of handwriting barely visible on a parchment scrap. The ink looks blotted away in places.
By water or by tears?
You decipher it as best as you can.
I told you I don't want them back. Take them or throw them away. I don't want to talk. I don't want to see you again. Not after what you've done. Well, that certainly doesn't bode well for this recipient.
Letters stowed carefully away. Were these written by someone you knew? You carefully fish out an envelope. To your frustration, they're too faded to read. It looks like they were damaged or the ink was of poor quality.
I wish I could have gotten a name. Something. Anything.
You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Think of it as an early wedding gift. Come on, try it on. I'm a lousy partner if I can't spoil you from time to time, aren't I?
That's not true. You're all I could ask for. You deserve it. You deserve so much.
Spring. Bright sunlight spills over a bustling town square. The market blooms with colors. Pennants fluttering in the air like butterflies, stalls strung with dried flowers, people filling the streets, tunics and skirts of woad and weld blossoming among the cobblestones. You keep your long hair covered, despite the warm day. Silver strands stand out like a blot of ink on a fresh page. But she stands out anyway, her loose waves flowing down her back, burning red in the sunlight. Uncouth, you knew for a woman of her age, but she never cared for what others thought of her. You admired that. You were always a little envious of it. Gingerly, she touches the drop of gold around her neck as if it were the most precious thing in the world. But she stares upwards as if the real treasure is held in her eyes.
Wait. I still don't know your name.
A gift. For someone you once knew. Someone who was close to you, at least for a time. Someone who cared for you. Someone who betrayed you. You deserve so much. And that voice. That familiar voice of somebody who wanted to give her the world, but had only the sword on his belt and the armor on his back and little more. A knight like you.
What did I do?
Alright, can I leave this? Alright, anything else? Oh. It's a wooden rack for holding weapons. A pair of training staves lean against it forlornly. You sweep your gaze over the room. Not a single sword or spear lies in sight. You let your gauntlet fall on your side, where a scabbard would hang off your belt if you were carrying one.
I can't deny I'd feel safer with a sword. You know what they say about old habits and dying.
This hatch? What looks like a hatch lies on the side of the room. You try to lift and meet resistance. Your hollow arms clang in unison with the metallic screeching of the hinges as you strain to open it. It swings open to reveal pitch blackness.
I shouldn't have expected anything else, should I?
Yet something in the dark pulls at your memory.
Twisting corridors. Tunnels melting one into the next. A pursuit. Hunters cornering prey. But was I the one chasing or being pursued?
All you know is that some piece to the answers you seek lies down there. So we're going down. Curiosity swallows sense as you descend into the darkness. Your sabatons clang on the steps, echoing into the lightless, soulless, unending, dark. Blacker than the sunless sea. Blacker than the place where you were nothing. You clamber out of the dark and nearly tumble onto the dusty floor.
I can't go further without light. I can't. This is 1,000 times worse than the fear I held when I was alive. The sun would always rise again no matter how many nights I could not sleep. But there is no sunrise on the sunless sea.
You give the hatch door a push, letting it fall closed, and shakily step away. Your answers will have to wait.
Until I have light and a way to leave a trail. If the tunnels are twisting as I remember, I don't fancy becoming lost down there either.
All right. So that's all there is to that. Maybe a young girl, but she isn't blind. Can't you see? The North needs someone like you.
Who? Wait.
All right, well, this time let's go right. Oh, wait, nope, same. Oops. I meant left. Left. Nothing else besides this. A pair of doors stands at the end of the hall. They don't budge even when you press your full weight of your armor against them.
Locked.
The thought occurs to you that for all your steel suit ways, you yourself are a spirit. In the tales you've heard of restless souls, some spirits walked through the world like mist.
Why then should a closed door stop me? That doesn't seem like a wise idea. I was drawn to this armor for a reason. I don't like the idea of leaving it after all. Especially after earlier. No, let's not risk it.
Alright, well in that case we're going to head back. And this time... Anything about the portrait new? Matroness.
For a woman to inherit, she must have had no brothers or close male relatives. None with a strong claim, anyhow. Perhaps some tried unjustly to take advantage of her. She had few relatives and allies. A rival could have tried to manipulate her. Or take her place.
That thought makes you feel strangely protective of the painted figure who, for all you know, could have been long dead as you are. The ruins of the room around you offer no consolation. It's very pleasant music, too. Okay, so what's this? You spy the remnants of a tapestry clinging to the wall. A knight on horseback charges at a giant thing, tied down by chains. Bolts stick out of its back. The lone rider is flanked by knights of different colors bearing shields and spears.
Revenants?
You said this would be a scary story. What's this? Are you afraid of a simple tale?
Revenants. But they're the size of men, not whatever this is supposed to be. No, tapestries often commemorate great events. Battles, victories. Perhaps the beast here was a metaphorical one. A great nation, an enemy, army, a tyrant. Nothing more.
Let's try and look again. The remnants of what was once a tapestry hangs over a bit like gutted skin. It depicts knights in battle against something. The fabric is nearly torn in two.
A thief would have taken the entire piece, not slashed it to pieces. Whatever the reason for doing this, it was personal.
Though a weapon could have damaged it, the jagged marks almost make you imagine claws.
Staring at this ghastly thing is making me dream up fairy tales.
Well, considering we spotted claw marks on the door earlier.
It's too dark to see anything. Maybe if I could light these candles. I don't want to be here. It's dark. It's too dark.
Alright, in that case... Here we are. A moonlight filters softly through a stained glass window. You recognize the scene depicted in colored glass. A scene from the Tales of the Mist.
It's the hero of Tristram, lantern and sword in hand, preparing to slay the revenant that terrorized his people. But the story isn't a happy one. It's a tale of sacrifice and folly. Tristram. Why is that name familiar? Oh, the tale was a popular one, and the name was common enough when I was alive.
But you can't help but feel there's more to it than that. Candles cover the room in every size and shape you could imagine a candle taking. Some are plain, half-melted stubs clinging stubbornly to their prickets, while others are tall and carefully carved with ornaments and flowers. Almost all are engraved with a name.
It's a chapel, a place where rites were given and prayers whispered, where all facets of life were celebrated. Births, funerals, weddings. I know this place. I've carved names here.
Golden light softly scattered by stained glass. Warm voices. Burrowed silks, not skills, silks. Flowers. For the first time you can remember, the scent of flowers mixes with incense and melting wax. You're not sure what they're called, but they're golden, like her eyes. Gold like the thin band you carry that glints like a ring of sunlight. It slips over her finger as easily as a promised whisper. It weighs like an oath kept. Your family gains another member today, but not all are present for to witness it. Your father is not here to see this joy. Your heart is so light you almost don't notice it. The warmth is gone, leaving your hollow plates colder than before. As the tender memory ebbs away, a trace of bitterness takes its place.
A woman in a veil.
An ornate candlestick sits on the altar. The candles resting in it are carved almost as beautifully as the spiraling black iron itself.
These candles would have been lit as an offering to the spirits, both to guide them to rest and to ask for guidance in return. And now it can indeed guide a spirit. Mine, through the cellars. But I need some way to light it. Candles must have been lit here regularly, so there must still be tools in this room I could use.
It's a pewter box. Inside you find shards of flint, striking iron, and char cloth.
Tools for lighting fire. Perfect.
Take them. You have no excuse not to enter the cellars now. You take them. You take a moment to admire the fine carvings of the candles.
To spend so much time carving wax only for it to melt away. The poor soul who carved this must have cared deeply for the departed.
The candles are candles, beautifully etched or not.
I could take this to light my way through the cellars.
You strike the flint until a spark catches, then light the 3 long candles standing in the candelabra. A soft glow radiates from the tiny flames now bathed in moonlight. For a moment, they seem to glow blindingly bright. Promise me you'll take care of your
sister.
Promise me you'll never fight, that you'll love each other.
Spare our daughter, please. I beg you. She's done no wrong. The voices. I don't recognize them. They must have been the past. But why did that feel less like a memory and more like a dream?
You toss your helmet and gorget as if you were shaking your head, then take the candlestick. You can sort out riddles later. Alright, so that's that. You carefully take your candlestick and bring it to the tall candelabra, setting each wick alight with a flame.
That's better.
A faded map lies on the desk. It depicts 2 territories divided by a great river. Lithrasir and Ostara.
Lithrasir and Ostara. Those names I recognize. Thrasir, the kingdom of silver north and golden south. Sunset over endless fields. Birch forests turning pale gold with autumn's chill. The white river, Asker, gleaming with ice. Pale crests of waves breaking on the boreal sea. Sky Ridge peak scraping a frost-blue horizon. A place I fought for with tooth and nail. Ostara, the kingdom across the river. Vengeance. Snow. Blood. Smoke. Screams. Beyond that, I don't remember. Ostara. Did we vanquish them, or did they vanquish us? The Thrasir. Home, as far as I could call it that.
Oh! Behind the map you find a note. My lady, you made the right decision. The Lion's Den is far too dangerous for a young girl like you. You can rely on me to handle the peace talks. I'm glad you understand why sending Sir Tristan would be imprudent. A bastard has no place rubbing shoulders with the lords, no matter how decorated. I'm sure I need not remind you what they call him. The Prince Slayer's presence could only give the wrong impression at a peace summit. Nor do the blood-hungry hounds who side with Heimdall need further encouragement. Please don't worry yourself. Ever your loyal commander, Sir D. So the D's cut off.
Prince Slayer? A mere knight dares spill royal blood? Small wonder this Sir Tristan would have been shunned, even for a veteran. It seems he was no champion of peace. But he had some reason. But had he some reason for bloodying his hands? Tristan.
You turn the name over in your mind, repeating its rhythm. Tristan. 2 syllables. A backwards heartbeat. Its cadence is familiar, engraved in your memory like the etchings on your armor. He was a knight with bloodied hands like you. Can I go back now? Thank you. All right, what's this bottle? An empty glass bottle. As you brush a cobweb off with your gauntlet, a memory scent wafts over you.
Stale liquor. Stinking bitterness. Honey to mask it.
You almost recoil in distaste.
I take it I wasn't one for strong drink. Could I use this to hold something or leave a trail with it in the cellars?
This is an abandoned-ass castle. Take anything that's not nailed down.
I could use this to hold something, to leave a trail. Like a powder.
You take the bottle and fix it snugly into your belt. What's this? A stack of papers sits on the desk. You look through them and find names, figures, and numbers.
They're fiscal documents. Little of this looks legible, though. They're stained and faded.
One of the better preserved pages is a roster of knights listed in order of rank along with their respective fiefs and kingdoms.
This many knights? What a wealthy master we shared. If tensions with Ostara were high, however, that makes plenty of sense.
One knight, whose name you cannot make out, is listed at the bottom. Whoever he was had far lower earnings than the rest. And who is this guy? It's a painting of a man with white hair and beard, dressed in fine furs and jewels. There's a clear resemblance between him and the portrait of the woman in the solar. His eyes painted stared down at you in stoic contempt.
You ungrateful bastard! Who gave you everything you have?
Who granted you the honor and privilege of a knighthood when you should be rotting in the streets?
Stale liquor, dusty cedar, parchment and ink. It's a tournament day, but you're not in the spirit for games. You retreated here in a foul mood, unaware that he had shirked his duties and done the same.
What more do you want, boy? You know what I want, father.
So we're the bastard son, most likely?
I remember him. This man was my father. The master of the castle was my father. Yet his daughter succeeded him, while I became nothing but more than a knight. And even that was a privilege he deemed me unworthy of. What did I want from him? And why wouldn't he give it to me? Even if it was more than what your vassal deserved. Even if I was born in shame. I was still your son, wasn't I?
Alright. There's still more. Oh, the books. Shelves of books and records on what looks like a variety of subjects. You walk over and examine the spine until you spot one that bears the same emblem on your armor. A raven with its wings extended like a leaf.
Ancestry of the House of Winter. That must be the family name of the matroness.
Navigating the pages isn't easy with metal fingers, but you manage, flipping through decades, if not centuries, of names, dates, and facts until you land on the most recent entry. Year 228, on the second day of the second month, a daughter is born to the Marquess Sigmund and Lady Vivian, and given the name Sieglind. Sieglind? 5 days later, Lady Vivian perishes. Year 246, on the 7th day of the 7th month, Lord Sigmund perishes after many months of illness. Lady Sieglind is named his successor and bestowed the title of Matroness.
Sieglind von Winter. My sister. You were born 18 years old when our father crossed the sunless sea. If this matroness and the one in the painting are the same, then the lady I served was barely more than a child. Sigmund. Father.
You flip back through the earlier entries. There's no mention of a son.
So I was kept around, but my mother and I weren't important enough to be included in the record, even as a footnote. As if they were ashamed I even existed.
You close the book with a sinking feeling in your cuirass. Alright, still more. The painted figure of a man stares out of a dusty frame. The previous marquis and master of the castle. Your father. That makes Matroness your sister, and you...
The bastard son kept to serve the family, never to take its lofty name. Is my name on this ledger? Could one of these knights be me?
You read out the list of legible names to yourself, but none feel like they belong to you.
Sir
Deithard?
Yeah, Sir Deithard, Sir Xavier, Sir Robin. Well, even if I could learn my name here, knowing what my fiefdom earned in a year doesn't seem like helpful information to me now. Assuming my master had even granted me one.
Oh, this. In the drawers you find more corked bottles of alcohol, dusty and undisturbed. You wonder if the matroness and her predecessor was fond of drinking. The top right drawer is locked and will not open. You can't help but feel the desk in its current state. Or feel that the desk in its current state, spilled alcohol, a mess of papers, doesn't look like it belongs to a matroness. Unlike the solar, this place looks largely untouched. She wanted to remember her dad, so she kept the room just completely untouched.
Pitiful thing. Ordinarily, I'd say that clinging to the past does one no favors, but...
Something from your past must have brought you back to this place. Okay, now I'm good.
You've not spent years protecting the commoners of
from Ostarian invaders. You're a prince. You're a princess locked away in a white tower. Oh, wait. Okay, so, no, that was us.
Locked away in a tower.
I'm well aware of my shortcomings. The only reason you stand where you are is because Sir Tristan is loyal to you, but... loyalties cannot change. Or loyalties can change, rather. Did you not like my gift?
It's beautiful, but...
You stand in the solar, your arms folded tightly in front of you. Your eyes flit over the suit of polished steel that stands there in solemn silence. A gleaming shadow. Okay, no, it was wife to us. Okay. I'm trying to figure out who's talking. You don't know what else to say. It is beautiful, worthy of a prince and worthy of a prince's ransom. But it's still only a suit of armor. To an ordinary knight, a gift like this would be the honor of a lifetime. But for a hero of the kingdom, a veteran of the Great Ice War, a man who's given and sacrificed so much, how could a single suit of armor even be enough?
I only wanted...
He wanted just a family. A proper family. A painting of a lady who could only be the matroness, your sister. As the only true-born child, everything was that was your father's would have been passed down to her, no matter how you felt about it. All right.
I still need a way to leave a trail to follow back. I suppose a powder could work.
So, okay, so still no on that front. Cold hearth full of ash.
Ash. Not the ideal trail maker, but I have no better options.
You do your best to scoop up the ash from the hearth into the glass bottle. It slips through the cracks in your gauntlet and settles deep into the fine etchings on the lambs turning beautifully black steel gray. Wait, yeah. But you have other things to concern yourself with than being tidy. Finally, once the bottle is filled, you return it to its place on your belt.
I hope this works. Not an ideal trail marker, but it will have to do. A shame no one left a pile of pebbles lying around.
Shame you can't leave a piss trail or something. Alright, let's go in. Once more you lift the hatch and stare into the open maw of the cellar staircase. The light from the candles, faintly flickering, outlines staggered steps swallowed by the darkness below. You stare into the blackness, one gauntlet gripped on your candlestick, the other reaffirming that the bottle on your belt is still sits snug.
I don't like this, but it's now or never.
And so you descend, step by step. Your sabatons clang. Your hauberk rattles against the shell of your cuirass. You grip your candlestick tightly as if it's shield and weapon both. The tunnels are wider than you remember. Wider than the oppressive, twisting stone you imagined. There's ample room above your helm and around you, so much that your candlelight barely reaches the walls on either side. But there is no sound but the ringing of steel against steel as you step, and step onwards. The shaking of your hauberk, clink, clank, within your hollow cuirass echoes like a heartbeat. Finally, up ahead, you come across a fork in the path. Left, search your memories. What path did you take so many years ago? You were following the lantern light of somebody. Somebody you held onto tightly. Or were they holding onto you?
Right.
You leave a small pile of ash to mark the turn, then continue into the dark.
It's strange how familiar this feels. Not this place, but this darkness. How crushing it is. How alone. Somewhere once I was freezing. I was hurt. I was trying to build a fire, but my fingers were numb.
With every shake of your metal heartbeat, you give silent thanks that you no longer feel the cold. The path continues on, stone after stone. Finally, after what could be minutes or hours, you spy another fork in the path. Search memories. Hand over the girl.
What did you do to the father? Answer me.
You can hate me all you wish. A young girl cries. A knight's resolve. Voices. One of them yours.
Left.
You make another mark with the ash, then continue down your path. Voices whisper at the edges of your mind. A tangle of threads. Faded. Frayed. You can't make out the words. You can't reach through the torn veil of your memories. Half of you wants to scream with the lungs you don't have. The other half wants to turn back and run.
Steady. If being down here makes me feel this way, I must be getting closer.
You can do nothing but continue. So continue you do. As you walk, the candles you carry seem to flicker, then burn brighter than before. You grip the candlestick tightly and continue on a cautious pace. Step after step. Finally, up ahead, another turn comes into view. Another fork. Search memories. This time there's nothing at all.
No, wait.
You're not my brother. My brother is a hero. He would never hurt me or betray me like this.
I'm not a hero. I'm not a hero.
Oh, no. Right. You leave more ash to mark your trail, then continue through the tunnels, hoping you picked correctly. You walk for what feels like hours. Your every hollow, clanging step reminds you that you are alone. You are alone. Whispers wrap around you like silk, trapping you in their threads. You are alone. You are not alone. Voices linger. Memories coalesce, or memory coalesces. Theirs, yours. They flicker and burn. They wither and choke. Ash gives way to cold and dark. The waves of the sea call. The dead do not belong. You jerk violently as hot wax drips onto your gauntlet, making you flinch as if your skin were flesh and not steel. You fumble and nearly drop the candlestick.
Steady. Steady. I'm far from the shores of the sea. Nothing can go wrong. Nothing worse than being dead already. I just need to get through this.
You continue on, more briskly than before, as if to make up lost time. Finally, up ahead you see something on the ground. A glint in the dark. You doubt your own senses at first.
No, something really is there.
Carefully, you approach. Candlelight falls on metal caked in dust and decay. The curve of a cuirass, the threads of a molding surcoat, the white of bone. A corpse lies before you.
Spirits.
The corpse of a knight lays against the wall, jaw locked in a soundless cry, sockets staring eternally upward.
He spent his last moments calling out, cursing whomever killed him.
A medallion in the shape of a raven hangs around the knight's gorget. You note how similar it looks to the one worn by the Matroness and Marquis in their portraits.
The mark of a high rank. No, the highest rank given to a knight. Why would a knight be down here? Why were you left here? Commander. A commander?
Keys hang off a ring on the fallen knight's belt.
I'll have to take those before I leave. I'm sorry, but I need them. Pitiful soul.
It seems you have no choice but to leave the dead knight be. You've been down in the cellars a good while. With candlelight waning, you decide to retreat the way you came. You reach for the keys looped in the knight's belt.
That armor. You dare show yourself again, traitor?
In another time and place. Castle Winter, Lif, year 308, winter.
Grandmother, I brought you some warm milk.
You are my heir, Tristram, not a servant. Will you wait until I cross the sunless sea before you act like it?
The young man wordlessly sets down the steaming cup and retreats from the room. You almost feel a pang of remorse as you hear the door close behind him with a quiet thud. Old age is making you sentimental. The regrets you thought you tossed aside weigh like a pile of stones. The boy is almost 30, and on the surface, an ideal successor. Level-headed, poised, a seasoned warrior, a skilled diplomat. Like you trained him to be. But his heart is fragile and weak. Just like... You sigh and turn towards the painting on the wall. Like him. His portrait has hung on that wall for decades. It was painted from your memories and descriptions. The artist spared no detail, but captured his likeness with a melancholy so true to life it stung you. Far from the heroic figure you wanted him remembered as. You dismissed that artist from your court in disgrace and hung the portrait in the privacy of your chambers, safe from the eyes of the world. And so he has kept watch over you, decade after decade, reminding you of your failures. You find yourself speaking to the dead more than the living these days. You dream of the things you'll ask him, explain to him, beg of him, demand from him.
Until we meet again, beyond the sunless sea, dear brother.
So our sister is still alive. Okay. All right. That was the end of the demo. Wow. That was extensive. You got a lot to do in this demo. That was like an hour's worth of content. God damn. All right. Music and art, story, GUI. All right. Endisis. Very good music. Very good everything, really. This is gorgeous. Very, very lovely. Very relaxing, too. It's got, like, pure vibes. Pure vibes. I'm going to save, actually. There we go. Oh, awesome. They actually, yeah, whoever they are, they consulted with actual arms and armory people. That's great. Hell yeah. All right. Well, that was very pleasant. So, that was the last winter night. If you enjoyed this, God, this art is fucking beautiful. If you enjoyed this, as I said, this game is going to be releasing in April. I don't know a specific date. I don't think a date is just listed at all, so it's going to be potentially any point in April, like early, mid, or end of April. So keep an eye on this, and if you liked what you saw, give this a wish list to support the devs. And yeah, big recommendation. I like the writing, and the art is absolutely beautiful. And I'm very intrigued kind of about the story of our main guy here as he's grasping with trying to remember who he was. So, cool stuff. Big recommendation.